But part of that is, without any question, preserving the freedoms and liberties of the American people. There is a sense today of trade-off. If we're going to give, I think the introduction almost involuntarily, I think, was, well, if we're going to give up our privacies or our freedoms in return for more security, we ought to understand what the true nature of the threat is. That is an accurate statement. As a matter of policy, I believe the challenge of statesmanship is to keep the American people secure and free, and to not do a trade-off. We have come too far to be trading off our freedoms of the people of the United States at this point. It is accurate that we must have a clearer transparency and picture of what the real threat is. And we don't see that much. We don't see that much. I thought it was a very compelling slide where he said that a secret report of the FBI said we just haven't identified any cells of Al-Qaeda. It doesn't mean there aren't dangers here, folks. I just gave you some examples of true dangers that actually exist that we must address. But I think we have a right to some transparency here, to understand exactly what the nature of the threat is, and we should be reaching for it each and every day. Oh, yes, security people will say, well, gee, if we tell you the truth, then the enemy will hear it. They think that. That's really true. They will hear it, by the way. But the fact is that there is a greater good here, and that is the opportunity to educate and inform the American people who are the citizens that we stand to speak for. Because at the end of the day, they can't exercise public virtue unless they have evidence and facts and information. So we ought to know what is the nature of the real threat, then we can better calibrate it and better measure it. But at the end of the day, we should not trade off the freedoms of the people of the United States in return for security. We should instead tell the people of the United States the truth, the nature of the actual threat. I agree that the enemy cannot bring down this republic or injure any of our liberties that we have fought for all through our days. Only we can do that to ourselves. We have a duty to understand what all of this is, and we have a duty to remember that great founding father, Benjamin Franklin, who warned us at the beginning of this great experiment that we have as Americans, that they who would sacrifice liberty in return for security are entitled to neither freedom nor security.